Whoever has faith in divine providence. But this is a very, very important thing. A very you want to say it? One of my teachers said that's the best way to know that God is concealed. Why? Because everything that happens is what's called HaShGacha Pratit, divine providence. Divine providence means basically that everything that happens is because God is making it happen. And he's making it happen with intention. It's intentionally happening. Every event, every how do you say every meeting, the two things meet. I can't remember the word. Every two things that mean coincidence. Every incident and every coincident is not really a coincidence. It's all directed by God, and it's directed by God for a purpose, and it's directed by God for good. And everything that happens in the world is connected with everything else that happens in the world. So by you reacting properly to whatever situation or whatever occurrence happens to you, by acting properly, is that affects not only you and brings out the good in you, it brings out the good in the situation, it brings out the good in the whole entire world. So that's what it means, divine providence. Divine providence, I guess there's no better way to explain it. English is not such a good language to explain these things. But divine providence means that God directs everything there is, and he directs it for a purpose, and it's always a good purpose, and it affects the whole world. He said, if a person really has belief in that everything that happens in the world, my teacher told me that that's the best way to see that God is concealed, because everything that happens is God's intervention and God's direction, and we don't see it at all. And we think exactly the opposite. The world is just nature, and it's just pure nature. And because there happened to be, God acts in a normal, and you say in an orderly way. So the laws of nature, that nature is determined by its laws. But it's not so. Nature is determined by God, and it happens to be that God does things in an orderly way. Okay, so if you see that everything that's happening is happening because God himself wants it, so then that this particular soul must purify. Oh, I'm sorry. One who has faith in individual providence knows that man's steps are made by God. Wherever you go, right, you miss a bus or something, whatever happens, an accident, wherever you are, you're there for a purpose. That this particular soul has to purify and improve something specific in some specific place and time. For centuries, even since the world was created, millenniums, that which needs purification or improvement waits for one particular soul to come and purify or improve it. I told you the story, right? The Baal Shem Tov went to some weird place only in order to make a blessing on a stream that was there, because no one had ever made a blessing on that stream. The soul, your soul, my soul, everyone's soul has been waiting since it came into being for its time to descend in the world so that it can fulfill the tasks of purification and improvement of the world which are assigned to it. So nothing happens by accident, and everything is designed, but we have to make the right choices. We're given the situation, but that's where we come in. That's where the Torah comes in. What are we going to choose to do? We see that Adam made the wrong choice, was put into the world directly by God, made the wrong choice. It affected the whole world up to now. And now all we have to do is make the right choice, and it'll affect the world positively. But we have to understand that whatever situation we are in, it is not natural. It is not that this guy just cut me off and he's at fault. God wanted this thing to happen. How am I going to react? As we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow.